Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I am so glad that you are here. I am excited to talk about journaling today. Journaling is something that is an important practice that we all should be taking part in, whether you are a business owner or you're a mom or a teacher or whatever it is that you do. It is so important that you spend some time writing down some of the things that are on your heart and on your mind. It's therapeutic. It allows you to record things that are going on in your life and in your mind and so much more. So I want to give you some tips about journaling today, why it's important, and a few ways you can practice it, some benefits, some types of journaling, and more. So let's dive in. Welcome to Flourish, the podcast for faith-driven mompreneurs who are ready to release overwhelm, create sustainable, healthy habits, and build purpose-driven businesses aligned with their faith, family, and vision. I'm Stephanie Book, a transformational mindset, wellness, and business coach. I'm here to equip you with the tools, mindset shifts, and encouragement to help you flourish. If you're ready to grow a thriving life and business while staying aligned with your faith, purpose, and priorities, you're in the right place. You are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Let's dive in. Before we jump in, I want to make sure that you know all about our Reset Your Mindset Challenge beginning on April 21st. This challenge is going to be so much fun as we get to connect together. We will do some live teaching. I will be teaching in a private room, and we'll have some time where you can ask me some questions and have some work time together. We're going to be able to work through changing your mindset to bring it back to where it needs to be so that you can flourish in your life and to move towards the things you want to do in your life and in your business and more. I am so excited. I've been working tirelessly on this, getting it ready for you, and I cannot wait. So make sure that you put reset in the comments or message me on Instagram at steph.book and get yourself registered. Invite a friend, and let's make this a great time to reset your mindset and step into creating the success you want. So journaling. I have always had a love-hate relationship with journaling. I know that it's important to journal. I know that it's important to write those things down, but I will be honest, my hand doesn't love writing everything down, and so a lot of times I'll put it off. I've kind of stepped away from some of my journaling practice, and I know how important it is. Journaling can be all different kinds of things. It's not just a Dear Diary kind of thing that we would often think of journaling. It's not just about writing down your feelings. It is part of that, but it's also about making point of recording some different things that are happening in your life, recognizing the growth that you've walked through, maybe some of the struggles, and be able to wrestle through those things. We have so many things that are on our minds all of the time. Our minds are constantly going, right? And so it's good if we slow down for a few minutes and write down some of the thoughts that come to our mind. I know that one of the ways that I really enjoy journaling is taking the time to not only just write out maybe the things that are happening in the day or what I'm feeling, but maybe even using it as a prayer journal, talking to God and being able to write down my prayers versus just speaking them out loud. So there's different ways you can journal different things. You could journal down what's going on with your life. You journal down your prayers. You can journal different things that you're noticing, your gratitude that you're walking through. Maybe going through some different decisions like I've been talking about over the last few weeks, or those transitions, and journaling what it feels like to go through that. So maybe you can help somebody else through it. Maybe you're just going to journal something that you remember about every day, or something you're grateful for every single day. And then you can look back later. What's really cool about journaling is it's written, right? So then you can go back and you can see the different things that you have grown through, different maybe prayer requests or things that have been on your heart that at one time seemed so big and so huge, and now, wow, look at these are answered, or things that places that you once were, or dreams that you once had that now are fulfilled or way past what you thought they could be. So journaling is a whole scope of things. It's not just a Dear Diary kind of thing. And it's also an opportunity. Like, I don't know what all you'll write in your journal. You might have a very private journal where you write down all of your thoughts and all your thinkings, but maybe there's some things like that where you're just talking about the different things that you're learning along the way. And that might be something that you get to pass on to your family. And even as you age and don't remember things, you'll be able able to have some record of things that are in your life and for your family. We know how often it is where as we grow older, we forget things. We forget some of the details and other things that we walk through. So if you journal, if you take that time to write those things down, those memories, those stories, those different parts of life may not be lost as quick. So I encourage you to find a way to journal. Now there's all different styles of journaling. There's different reasons that journaling is helpful, and obviously there's different types of journals. So we're going to talk about all of those things, but I wanted to talk about some different things that I looked into. I've heard a lot of people say that it's more important, or it's not more important, it's beneficial. It's more beneficial to actually write down your journal. Now, I really like just to speak text, and so a lot of times I'll speak text in my phone and then it will type it up. I've tried a few apps like that and it's good, but I do know that when I take the time to actually sit down and write, it's just more therapeutic and it flows really easily, and I just need to give myself some grace that I don't write as fast as my brain is going. So, but I thought, well, let's see, is that true? What are some different things that are evidences that writing them down makes a difference? So I did a little bit of research, and one of the things that it said about journaling when you're writing it down is it activates deeper processing. And it says, according to a study published in the Psychological Science, physically writing something down activates multiple regions of the brain, including those involved in memory, emotion, and critical thinking. This deepens understanding and retention, more so than typing, which tends to be more passive and surface level. A quote by Mueller and Oppenheimer in 2014 says, handwriting creates richer memory traces than typing. So, right. So we can type out a journal. And I'm not saying I'd rather you journal something than not write it down, but this allows you to see there is some reasons for writing and why it's important. Writing will slow you down. And this is a good way. Like I said, my brain is going a million miles a minute, but we are able to write down, and we're slowing down the pace, right? We're able to generally really put a little bit more intentionality or relation into what we're writing down. Helps you become more aware of what you're writing down and allow you to feel as you're writing that down. When we're typing, we're kind of in a mode of da 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 da, right? We're going through the motions of typing all the things that are coming out. And so that journaling, that writing down allows us to slow down and be intentional. It helps us organize and regulate our emotions too. The University of Texas found that expressive writing can help you regulate emotions and reduce stress. When you put thoughts to paper, it helps your brain make sense of complex emotions and mental clarity and calm. James Pennebaker, he said, writing about emotional experiences can improve both physical and mental health. Okay, so those are definitely some good benefits. Writing by hand improves goal achievement. A study by Dr. Gail Matthew at Dominican University, it showed that people who wrote their goals down versus only thinking or speaking them were 42% more likely to achieve them. So that helps solidify. So when you're doing goals, when you're writing things down, it solidifies it into your brain. It's almost like it stamps it on your, you think it in your mind, but then when you're writing it down, it gives that extra process, right? And all the different things we've talked about with the emotion, and it allows you to connect with it more. And then it also will boost your creativity. It allows you to be more freedom and flow of ideas. And you're allowed to, when you're writing things down, you're slowing down, you're thinking through things a little bit better. And a lot of times as you're slowing down and doing that, and your creative juices start going and you start thinking of things different ways. So writing it down, it really is important. So those are a few benefits. I'm sure there's lots more. There's probably more statistics, and I'm not going to go into all those kind of things. But I thought that was good because people always say that. And I thought, well, why do they say that? Why do they say that writing down is better? So there's a few things that I gave you there. But I think it does help you when you stop and think about it, what journaling does for you. It does make a difference when you're stopping to write them down. So some benefits of journaling. So other than just some of the things that I've already talked about, like I said, it gives clarity of mind, helps you untangle those thoughts, especially as I've been talking about going through some transitions and making decisions. When we're writing our thoughts down, it helps us reduce the clutter in our brain and allows us to really clearly think through the things, gives us some chance to really focus on what matters most. It can be stress relief. Journaling allows us to slow down. Again, see, that's a big thing, right? The slowing down. We're always in a fast pace. We're always want to go, 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 go. And I think that's probably why it's hard sometimes for us to journal, because we just want to get it done and move on. But it says lower your cortisol levels when you slow down and you journal. You don't have all those emotions bottled up because you're being able to release them on paper. And it gives you that emotional healing. It puts your processes of grief or anger or fear or confusion, or like I said, like decision making, and it helps you feel it and walk through it rather than oppress it or make it repress it or feel it like it's bottled up inside. Like, it allows that release, and that's so good. Our spiritual growth, journaling invites us a space to talk to God, be able to journal out the prayers, the things that are in our heart, stopping and listening for God's voice and writing down the prayers or the prayer requests or different scriptures that are meaning a lot to our hearts, so that we can align our truth, His truth, with the things that we're walking through. It gives you increased self-awareness, helps you recognize patterns maybe in your life, maybe some beliefs that you keep speaking over yourself that you might not recognize. It allows you to make those intentional shifts. When we talk about reframing our mindset and resetting our mindset, like I want to do in the challenge with you, this journaling allows us to notice those things that maybe we're seeing a lot of that is a pattern that we maybe want to reframe or change. Of course, it encourages gratitude. Gratitude, obviously, is a big part of something that I talk a lot about, making sure gratitude is put first. And so when you're journaling, you have a chance to write down the things that you're grateful for, the ways that it's blessed your life, the things that you've noticed that you've grown in. There's so many things that you can look at, that abundance versus the lack, and look at the excitement and the ways that God has blessed you and the things around you that have brought you joy. Journaling can help your mental health. It will help reduce anxiety. We've talked about that. Even help you manage your depression. It might even help your sleep quality, sleep quality, because it helps you slow down your brain. You're getting all of those thoughts, because like I said, we have so many things stored in our brain. And so it allows us to let it go and release it and write it down. And once it's down, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to store it in there anymore because it's released. You won't forget it because it's written down. And then it helps, with your goal setting and progress tracking. When you're writing things down, you'll be able to see these are the things that were on your heart. And when you go back and read them, you'll be like, wow, look at that. I had a goal to do this. And I'm, me with this podcast, I had a goal. Someday I want to do a podcast. Someday I want to do a podcast. This is episode 96, you guys. So, oh my goodness, this is a way that we can look back and see this is a tracking of our goals and celebration of the wins that we have. And again, it talks about that creativity, it's good. I talked about how that's a benefit or a reason why the writing with our hand is important, but it does allow us to have more creativity. It allows us, again, that's that pause and that quiet, and our mind starts going. And sometimes our best ideas come from when we are journaling. And just like when you're in the shower, I feel like when you're writing things down, you're slowing down. And when you're in the shower, I don't know about you, but like my brain starts firing off all the different things that I want to talk about or share, a lot of things that I want to share about with you, because my brain is just like, it's in a relaxed, release mode, and I'm just be able just to do the things that I need to do. And then I talked again about this, legacy and memory keeping, and allowing you to have those memories in a spot where you can have them forever, so that those that are come after you will be able to see the things that you've seen and learn from the things that you've learned. How many times have people talked about things that they've looked at, they found recipes or journal entries of their grandparents or their great grandparents, and then they'd be able to pass that on, just like a recipe. I have my grandmother's spaghetti recipe, which was passed down, through some generations. I don't know. I'm sure it's been changed a little bit over the time, but that's really cool. And that was because that was written down. Now that was a recipe, but recipes are almost like a journal, right? When you're having those handwritten recipes, you can see that person's handwriting. You can see the love that they put into the recipes that they made and get to pass that on. So, I really encourage you. You can see there's lots of benefits for it. So it's not just about like, well, you should. Well, why should you? Well, these are all those great things. So I wanted to share a little bit about some different types of journals that you can have. There's all different kinds of journals that are at your fingertips, right? We've got journals that you do on your own, like a bullet journal. You've got ones that are scripted for you that give you like a prompt every single day. There's a plethora of different journal books that you can use, and a digital journal. And then of course there is like an audio journal, and there is different journal apps where you can type it up, even though we've talked about that and like the benefits of actually writing them down. So I thought I would show you a couple different things. I have not been using a bullet journal for a while, but it was something that I really, really enjoyed at one time. I used it for, so this is it's one of those moleskin ones. I know there's another brand that John Acuff uses. I don't remember what the name of it is. He actually has a journal that he sells specifically for that. And I have a bunch of papers in here. This is an older one. But it's fun with a bullet journal. It's blank when you get it. And so you can just do whatever you want. So this was from 2020. This one was. And it allows you to it's right. Like this is a dotted one. People really like having that. And so I bet if I go through, there'll be all kinds of things that I was going through. I didn't get real fancy in this one. But allows you, when it's your own journal, it allows you to like draw things or write things. I am not an artist, but looks like I did some type of lesson, and I put my name in the middle, and I gave myself maybe some affirmations and things around. I would write down my affirmations in here. I wrote down a whole bunch of things that I was grateful for, and I've talked about that before, 1,000 things that you're grateful for. And so like here's like a list of all my gratitude. So like a bullet journal is really cool because it will be just blank pages like this. And I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this is a dotted journal. Of course, they have lines and different things like that. So I was trying to find, I didn't want to take up too much time, but I have some where I really do like lots of colors and made it really fun. So if you really like that type of creativity, you can be doodling on the side, you can add colors, and there's stencils and all kinds of things. Now you can get really, really advanced in that, or you can just be simple. And I know I don't have any of those, but I know some people buy Bibles that you can journal right in your Bible, and people will use the margins, and there's special margins for you to draw and things like that. I'm not much of a drawer, so it's not something I've done, but again, that's another one. There are different kinds of journals that like this one, The Next Right Thing, a guided journal by Emily P. Freeman. I really love her podcast, and she will go through, and she has this journal, and it allows you to kind of journal the different seasons. And so I think it's broken up in monthly and weekly, and there's a list, and then there's a spot for like reflection at the end of the month, and then a reflection for like the end of the quarter and stuff. So this is kind of, I'll be honest, I haven't gotten through very much of this, but she does have it, so you could do it through each year, and really you can just start at whatever season you want to. So it gives you a place for a quote of the month, and like a little place where you can write different things down, a happy list, things that you've read, you've watched. So like I love all the prompts and stuff that she has. So that's a journal that's guided for you that will allow you. A different kind of journal would be like a write the word journal. You get these from Cultivate What Matters, and this would give you, again, this is where it gives you a scripture verse, and then it gives you the date. It gives you a prompt, what you're grateful for, and then you can have a place to journal, which is really awesome. Like just to be able to write down the things that are on your heart. So this is a way that you can be in the Word, and then it's a place where you'll be able to have that. And I think this was a Psalms on the Psalms, but there's lots of different ones that they have at Cultivate What Matters. So I really love their journals and all their things that they have. This one I haven't even looked at yet. I actually won a special basket at Christmas time, and it's a 5-minute journal. So this again is a journal that allows you to kind of journal different things, I guess. So let's look at it. 5 reasons you will love the 5-minute journal. It talks about that. It gives you basic principles. It gives you a morning routine. It tells you it gives you a whole bunch of things about like gratitude, highlights of the day, weekly challenges, and then allows you to write down some things and accountability. And then it gives you a spot each day. I'm grateful for, what would make today great, daily affirmations, highlights of the day, and what did I learn today. So this is something, if you want something printed, this might be a thing to try, the 5-minute journal. So again, I got that, but I have not used it. And the Gold Digger Journal Journey. This is one that by Kimberly Olsen. I've talked a lot about her, and it's just a pretty little guy. where you can have journal entries. It's blank, so it's a journal. You can use it for what you want with a bunch of really cool, some affirmations, goal crusher, amazing, things like that that are in the background. So things that you can claim and whatnot. So that's something like that, like if you like a printed one. Another thing that this I really love is this 100 Days of Believing Bigger journal. I have gotten this. It's by Marshawn Evan Daniels, and this one gives you like a little spot. I'm almost done with it. I probably will go through it again because it just makes me sad because I really liked it. There's different sections, but here, like, it gives you like a little devotional that you can read here, and then it has a scripture, and then there's a spot here where she asks a question with another like little prayer at the end. But sometimes it's there, but sometimes it's just really a nice little place. And so it's been journaling a lot of things, some about what she's asked about, and some things that have been laid on my heart. So those are a bunch of journal guides that you can do. Of course, you can use any type of journal. It could just be a blank journal that you just want to write down your entries, or there are some different apps that you can use. Penzu, I've used that in the past, where you can type it on your computer or, on your phone, or I've done a lot of times where I'll do speak text into it. So sometimes if I'm really resisting writing it down, sometimes I'll just speak text it in there. But I really think there's a benefit of writing it down. And then I did create, if you are really into digital journaling, that's one thing I really like. And I love my iPad for that because I'm able to actually write with a pencil. Whoops, with the iPad pencil or the iPencil, I don't know what they're called. And you're able to actually write it down, but it's digital, and so you can make it really big. So I created a journal. There are probably others out there. I have the focus journal that I created here, and it has different pages. There's a note page. There's another spot where it's just kind of like a blank, I don't know if you could see that very well, but a blank lines with, like, you could write down the date, and then just some other pretty journal pages, and then like a blank one if you're want more space and not lines. I have a dotted one if you really like the dots, like my bullet journal had, and then the grid, because a lot of people like the grid. So there's different options, and then there's a place for your prayer focus and prayer requests. So it's nice, you can write down the different things that you're praying for. And then there's some fun stickers that I added in here. So if you have an iPad, have an iPencil, then you're going to you could download different things. And I have covers for each month and stuff that I created. So if you want to, I will put a link in my show notes for that template, and you would use that in like Good Notes or something like that, or if you have an app, a notes app, and that's where you would use it. So you can reuse it over and over and over again, which is nice when you have a digital journal, because if they're not dated like this one, then you can go through and just start it whenever you want, and just start each year with a new one. And then I have extra sticker packs that you can get, like a spring one and a fall one and a Christmas one that you can always get and add in there, which is really fun. So you can do that. But so those are other options, and I'm sure there are other digital journals out there that you can download onto your iPad, and it gives you that freedom to be able to journal in the way that fits you best. Because the biggest thing is, whether you want to write it down or you want to speak it or you're going to type it, just get those thoughts down, because what's most important is recording those things, putting in those prayers, looking at the gratitude that you have, and really acknowledging all the things that you are grateful for and you're walking through and you get to experience. Because how fun it is to look back later and be able to see where you've come from. And I actually, now that I got that 2020 bullet journal out, I want to look at it and see all the ways that I have seen growth in me, the ways that God has worked things out that I never thought was possible. And I think about that, and I've talked about that here before. I remember walking by my house many years ago, and it wasn't my house. I remember walking on the trail that's right outside my house, and I remember looking at all the beautiful houses that are lined up on this trail, and I always thought, I wonder what it would be like to live there. Never in a million years did I think I would live here on a house right off the trail, and here I am. And so every spring, summer, when I get to actually sit on my back porch, I think of that often, and how much gratitude I am, because I never thought at that time that that was something that I was going to experience. And I know that if I look back, I will see in a journal things where I was hoping for a bigger house or a place that was different than where I was currently living. And not that I wasn't happy with the place I lived, but it was small, and I was ready for something bigger. And this is bigger than probably I ever imagined. So My friends, I hope that this is encouraging to you. It doesn't discourage you. The biggest thing is just start writing something down. If you're not doing any type of journaling at all, start with gratitude. Write down those few things that you're thankful for each day, or maybe one sentence of maybe something at the end of the day, something that you celebrated. Or write down one thing that you learned that day. Just pick like one little simple thing that you could do to be able to start that journaling practice and see how awesome it is. Maybe, recording your prayer requests down, or just writing down a verse every day. If you don't want to use your own thoughts, then start writing something down every day, because it's going to help you get into that practice, and eventually you're going to want to do it more. And I'm challenging myself to step back in and do it more, because I know it makes a difference. And like I said, I was really consistent over some of the years, and so I want to make sure that I am stepping into that and doing that as well. Friends, don't forget to sign up for the Reset Your Mindset Challenge. We're going to walk through different ways to reset our mindset, and think about all the things that you'll be able to journal down of things that you're learning as you get to step into that. So put reset in the comments, or tag me again on Instagram at steph.book, so that you can make sure you are signed up and joining us for that free 5-day challenge. My friends, I want you to remember that you are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Take care. Thank you for joining me on Flourish. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and equipped to take your next step with confidence. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who needs this encouragement. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at steph.book and join our Facebook community of faith-driven women who are ready to flourish. Make sure to check out the show notes for all the ways we can connect and continue this journey of growth together. My friends, remember, you are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Take care.